Look at these people! Look at these people! Everyone's got their cameras off though.
No,
Oh
no,
no, people are
they're
just
coming.
they're just coming, they're just coming.
Time. Let's
Hi
go.
guys!
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to literally the biggest talk of my absolute life. Like is this is nuts, and it's a beautiful feeling to see so many of you here and ready to listen to me have a chat with my pal Hal.
Have you been practicing that?
I've been practicing. I went to the field a few minutes ago just to practice that. Thank you so much for being here. It's strange for me to not be saying good morning and like waving my arms around like a mentalist. Hal is on his way. My time with him is actually scheduled from 1:15, and I thought I'd start by giving you a little bit of a heads up on what to expect over the next 45 minutes to an hour. The first thing to do is tell you that we're going to give away a bunch of Hal's books at the end. So we've got the Miracle Morning and we've got the Miracle Equation, two amazing books. If you stick around to the end, we're going to put a spin wheel on and someone will walk away with some books, which is amazing. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Peter Mols. I've been running a networking community by the name of Networking In for the last 6 years. Gosh, it's gone fast. And it's been a journey, is what I would say. I want to talk to you a little bit about my story and help you understand how we've got to the place where we are and how we've managed to convince Hal Elrod to come and talk to us. So I guess my story starts with the fact that if you'd have asked me when I was 10 years old what I wanted to be, I would have told you categorically a millionaire. And a long story short, I went through school and uni studying business, and I started a business on the other side of the world. And unfortunately, it didn't go so well. And I lost that business after about 18 months. I lost the money, I lost the website, and I lost my mental health in the process. And from that point, I had 13 years on antidepressants. For me, losing the thing that I'd birthed and brought into existence it really did feel like losing a baby. I didn't have kids at 26 years old, but it felt to me like I'd lost a baby and I'd failed. And it took me an awful long time to kind of come out of that tailspin. And do you know what? It wasn't all bad. Like I had antidepressants and they were absolutely the right thing for me, but I constantly was trying to get off them. And I think I tried to get off antidepressants 40 times over that 13-year period unsuccessfully. And each time I'd kind of feel amazing. So I'd come off them and then I'd crash and burn and cry and realize I needed my antidepressants again. And then I was rescued by an organization called Action Coach. And when I joined Action Coach, I started to learn about personal development and I started to learn about reading to develop myself and grow my skill set and so on and so forth. And I came across a book called The Miracle Morning. And during reading that book, I suppose I had a very young son at the time, and I looked down at him and I realized that I'd spent 13 years on antidepressants, and I realized that I'd just spent the first year of his life on antidepressants. And I kind of played that forward, and I was like, if I don't do something, if I don't change, then I think the reality is that I could well be on antidepressants when he's 18. And the thing about antidepressants is that they're good at stopping you from hitting the lows, but they also kind of take out a little bit of the high. And I suppose I read Hal's book at the right time, because what he teaches in this book are fairly simple practices. Actually, he went back through the ages and he discovered some really simple techniques, some habits, some rituals that help people succeed. And I started practicing these rituals, and within a month I was in a place where I was able to free myself of antidepressants, which is amazing. And I'm I'm proud to tell you 6 years on, I'm still off of the antidepressants. It doesn't mean to say that life is always easy, because it's not. It's a roller coaster. But I passionately believe in the messages within this book. One of the things that Hal endorses, and I'm not going to give too much away for those of you who don't know, he endorses these things called visualizations. And I promise you, for the last year, I've been visualizing bringing bigger and better speakers and people to our alliance. Our alliance is our online community. And we've had some epic speakers already, if we're honest. We welcomed Bob Berg at the back end of last year, who wrote an amazing book called The Go-Giver, which was a million book seller. But this one's really special for obvious reasons. And when I managed to blag an interview with Hal, and he agreed to talk to the audience. His keynote speech, by the way, is $48,000, and I managed to blag this for free. And when I managed to do that, I wanted to make sure that we brought people who had experience of struggle, because I think there are some really profound lessons that those people will learn. So we wanted to do this for free for those people. Now, we've got people from all over the world, and I'd love to see in the chat where some people are from. So there's multiple screens, so I'm not going to clearly see everyone. We've got someone from Wantage in the house. Amazing. Wiltshire. There's someone from Swindon, but I know we've got someone from Patagonia. We've got someone from, I said that right, Patagonia. Someone from Thailand is here. Hungerford, Bicester. We've got some epic people joining us from all over. We would love to know sort of the way that this is going to work for the first half an hour probably is I'm going to ask some questions that I've prepared, and then we're going to throw it open to you lot to ask questions of him. So if you've got a question for Hal, please do just put it in the chat, and then Sarah and Robin and Laura will filter through them and decide on which ones get asked. And if you get asked, we will invite you to unmute yourself and then ask the question. So I think we're still waiting on Hal. Are we still waiting on Hal?
Still waiting, yeah.
Still waiting. Okay, perfect. So Sarah's going to give him a call any second and chase up. I'd love to know whether any of you have read the book. Can I see a show of hands for that? He's in the house. He's arrived. He's in the waiting room. Sweet. We're on track. I'd love to know whether any of you, by a show of hands, have actually read the book. So I can see Emma, I can see Grace, I can see Sue, I can see Zoe fangirling out with her copy in hand. Dave's been reading it, Howard's been reading it. Okay, there's loads of people that have read it. This is really good stuff. Okay, so before we get going, before we let Hal in, there's something that I would like you to do to just humour me. This is the biggest audience of my life, and I'd be absolutely stupid if I didn't take full advantage of it, right? So there's this one move that Hal Elrod does that we would like to do en masse, if that would be okay with you. And what he does, basically, if you've seen him, is he goes like that to make a really big, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life for me, right? And what I'd love to do is just coordinate it so that we all do it at the same time. I think that would be epic, and it might make a decent social thing. So, on the count of 3, if we can all do that together, you'll make me eternally grateful. And I realise we're keeping Hal waiting, but there we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Thank you, beautiful people. Let's get Hal in.
I'm letting him in. Here he comes.
You're going to spotlight us, right?
I will in a sec.
Hal Elrod's in the house. None of us can see him, but Hal Elrod is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
Thank you.
Awesome.
No, thank you for this incredible opportunity that you're bringing to us. This is an absolute gift, and we're really, really grateful for it. Hal, I think Sarah's going to spotlight us.
Spotlight you just now. There's Peter.
Perfect.
And give me 2 seconds.
We've got lots of people here that want to see you, Hal.
I'm truly honored. I'm so honored, y'all. Thanks for showing up today, and Pete, thanks for bringing me on.
Oh, mate, we're so happy to have you here. So look, before you arrived, I've been telling the guys my story, which you obviously know. You helped me in a profound way overcome 13 years of depression, and I'm forever grateful to you for that. Look, man, your book has changed a lot of lives, right? You've changed a lot of lives. I know my story obviously is the one that I'm most fond of, but I know that people like Robert Kiyosaki and Mel Robbins, really, really successful people look to you as a bit of a legend. And being around your community on Facebook, I know that there are hundreds of thousands of people with stories like mine, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the first question is, which is your favorite story?
That's a great question. And I don't have a favorite. It really is, right? Because each one to me is like, if one person had their life transformed in a way that meant so much to them, maybe they lost 20 pounds when they hadn't been able to lose the weight. I mean, I actually know someone, I don't know if you've seen the Miracle Morning documentary. Have you seen the movie, Pete?
Yeah, man.
So, Mike Eaton in that movie, he lost 80 pounds. He was obese his entire life. Like, that's incredible. But then if you look at Keith Minnick's story in the movie, his son died and he went into a year-long depression. And his very first Miracle Morning, he decided, oh, wait, I'm in control of my mental and emotional state. I don't have to be depressed over my son's death anymore. So it's like, how do you pick? Well, that one's better than that one,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really is every day, thousands of people, whether they write reviews or send emails or post on social media, how the Miracle Morning transformed their life. Every single one to me is equally just inspirational.
Yeah, great answer. So you've been through a lot, right? Your sister died when you were really young.
Yeah.
You had a car crash and died and came back from that. You went through the financial crash and faced a significant depression, which I think is where the Miracle Morning came from.
Yeah.
And you've overcome cancer. I mean, you've been through a lot. But whenever I see you, hear you, you've got a smile on your face, and I kind of want to understand from you where that comes from.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think there's multiple answers to it. One, though, is when I was 19 years old, I learned something in my Cutco sales training called the 5-minute rule. And I've never stopped sharing this because it was so life-changing for me. And then everyone I've shared it with, they go, oh my gosh, it changed my life. In fact, next to the Miracle Morning, the 5-minute rule is probably the most life-changing thing that I've learned and taught to other people. And the 5-minute rule is simply that we were taught in sales training that, hey, sales is a microcosm for life's adversity, but amplified. Meaning the average person faces rejection occasionally, they fail occasionally, but the salesperson gets rejected every day and fails every day and so on and so forth. So he said, you need a strategy to quickly overcome adversity and like mental and emotional challenges that can hold you back so you can like move through the adversity and just keep going. And so he said the 5-minute rule is the answer. When something goes wrong in your life, whenever you feel upset over something, I'm disappointed, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm upset. You set your timer on your phone for 5 minutes and you give yourself 5 minutes to bitch, moan, complain, cry, vent, whatever you have to do. And the point is that you don't suppress your emotions, which we often do. We're like, oh, I don't have time to like worry about this. I'll worry about it later. And later never comes. And we push down, we suppress those emotions. They are literally energy that gets stored in our body, right? That's why fear and stress are some of the biggest causes of death and disease, because those are emotions that we suppress in our body. It's energy that is detrimental to our cells. So the idea is that you set your timer for 5 minutes and you express it fully. You go, I'm so upset, I'm so angry, I'm so, and depending on where you're at, maybe you go in the bathroom and you do it on your own time. But at the end of the 5 minutes, once you've allowed yourself to fully express and experience the emotions that are coming up, at 5 minutes, you say 3 very powerful words. Can't change it. It's an acknowledgement. I can't change what happened 5 minutes ago. So now I get to choose if I want to be miserable and keep wishing it didn't happen and complaining about it and feeling sorry for myself. That doesn't seem like a good idea. So what's the alternative? It would be to accept life exactly as it is and just be at peace with it. And I might not be happy that that thing happened, but I can choose to not let that thing determine my mental and emotional well-being. And so that's really the mindset. When I was hit head on by a drunk driver at 20 miles per hour, the doctors thought I was in denial because I was so happy. And I said, no, you don't understand. I live my life by the 5-minute rule, and the car accident was 2 weeks ago. Like, I had my 5 minutes, and to be fair, I took 5 days. Like, I needed more than 5 minutes after being told I was never going to walk again. I broke 11 bones. All right, give me a little more time. But within literally within 5 days, I was like, all right, I can't change that I was in a car accident. I can't change that I broke 11 bones. If I never walk again and I'm in a wheelchair the rest of my life and I can't change that, I will choose, and this is really the bow on the answer, I will choose to be the happiest and the most grateful I have ever been while I'm in a wheelchair. And for you watching, what's your, maybe from the past, or they may be chronic that are ongoing, and you allow them to dictate or determine your mental and emotional well-being. And you think, well, of course I'm upset. My spouse does this or doesn't do this, or, of course I'm sad. Look at what I lost, of course. But it's like, or you could have two people that are suffering the same challenges, and person one is totally distraught because they're wishing it wasn't happening and they're resisting reality. And person two goes, can't change it. I can't change that my spouse is this way. That's how they are. I can either be at peace with it, or I can let it run my freaking life. And the latter doesn't sound like a very good idea. And, and I will say this, I don't know if y'all know, but there is a new edition of the Miracle Morning. It's the updated and expanded edition. And the reason I'm sharing that, that's the UK version.
It's the UK version, yeah.
Yeah, same book, just different cover. But in that book, there's 2 new chapters. There's 70 new pages of content. And one is the Miracle Evening. So chapter 11 is the Miracle Evening, your strategy for blissful bedtime and better sleep. And then chapter 12 is the Miracle Life, your path to inner freedom. And that last chapter is what I just talked about, but in depth and adapted to affirmations and broken down. I mean, it's how you actually, because what I just talked about, you're like, I get it, but I don't know how to get there. Like, I get upset when things happen, and that's just how I've always been. So the Miracle Life chapter is like, okay, here's how you can go from I get upset at the things I can't control to, wow, I'm going to choose my optimal mental and emotional state in every moment of my life from here on out.
Wonderful. Wonderful. To what extent, because I read that obviously your parents have got a particular way of their mindset seems fairly unique. Yeah. And I think probably the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Yeah, so to what extent have your parents played a part in the way that your mind works?
Yeah, I think they played a big part. And a lot of it, obviously, like when you're a kid, you don't recognize it. It was looking back in hindsight. Oh, I'm a lot like my mom in that way. I'm a lot like my dad in that way, right? So my parents are both pretty positive. And when I say they're positive, my dad's just a generally super happy everyone loves my dad. He's one of the nicest guys in the world, and generous, thoughtful, just funny, just a great, everybody loves my dad. And then my mom, she's the life of the party. And she is always going over and above to make other people, their life better. And she donates blood every week and has for like 40 years. She sits with dying elderly people in hospice during their final days, right? Like, so if I look at like my mom, my dad, and how they've dealt with adversity, when my sister died, within 6 months, my mom was leading a support group for other parents who had lost children. So in hindsight, I go, oh, I'm pretty much exactly like my mom and dad, even though growing up, I didn't recognize how awesome or positive or resilient they were. But nevertheless, it was having an effect. And, with a 14-year-old daughter right now who's in that phase of, Dad, nothing you say is what I want to hear. I'm just praying that subconsciously, that I'm planting those seeds.
Good on you, man. Good on you. So in the book, let's turn to the book, right? Because that's why we're here. In the book, your periods of depression sent you on a journey to discover the secrets to success. And you spent a long time No, in fact, I'm going to rephrase that. You didn't spend a long time. It was really evident when you started looking, right? Which habits came up time and time again. So why don't you talk us through the habits that you discovered and the order in which you put them in?
Yeah. So the premise of the Miracle Morning is based on this philosophy from Jim Rohn that your level of success, and this is every area of life, so not just your professional success, but your marriage, as a parent, your mental health, you name it. If you're measuring success in every area of life, your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. That was the aha moment when I heard that. And here's the funny thing. They're not funny because you can all relate. I had probably heard that quote before, and it would in one ear, out the other, like, yeah, I don't really get what he's saying. Okay, anyway. And in that moment, I went, oh, wait a minute. I quantified it. And I want y'all to quantify it with me right now in your own life. If we're measuring success in any area of life on a scale of 1 being like, just unhappy, unsuccessful, struggling, and 10 being the most fulfilled, happy, successful we could be, what level do we want in every single area of our life? Level 10. I've never met anyone that's like, I don't want to be too happy. I don't want too much money. No, I think there's an innate drive and desire within every human being. Like, no, I want to self-actualize. I want the best from myself and my life that I can achieve. But then the next question from Jim Rohn, or the question that his quote prompted, is if your level of success won't exceed your level of personal development, I had to ask myself, what is my level of personal development? And that's a kind of a vague question, because it's like, well, how do you figure that out? How would you measure that? And the way that it came up for me is I went, what is in my day? What are the rituals and routines in my day that are enabling me to develop myself into a better version of who I am, so that I can become the level 10 version of myself in every area that's capable of creating the level 10 success I want in my life? It was so crystal clear. So I was on a run when that happened. I was in an audio, ran home, Googled, what do the world's most successful people do for personal development? Was looking for one practice, maybe 2, had a list of 6, almost threw in the towel because I'm like, I can't do all of these. Like, I'm busy. What am I going to, can't do them all, but they're all equally valuable. And so thank goodness the light bulb moment was, wait a minute. What if instead of trying to figure out the best of these 6 practices, what if I did all of them in one sequential ritual? And it wasn't in the morning at first. It was just like, I'll figure out when. But I thought, and by the way, these 6 practices are memorable with the acronym SAVERS, SAVERS. The first S is for silence. That's your prayer, meditation, breath work. It's about starting your day in a peaceful, purposeful state, letting go of the stresses from the day before and getting totally clear for today. The A is for affirmations. And affirmations, I believe, have been mistaught for the last, century. We're taught to either lie to ourselves, like, if you're struggling financially and you want to be wealthy, just create an affirmation and say, I am wealthy. And I don't know about y'all, but if I say I am blank and it's not true for me, right? Like if my bank account balance is like, negative and I'm going, I am wealthy, right? Your subconscious is like fighting. It's, no, you're not. You're not. You're broke, And so that's true for any area of life that you affirm. If it's not true, the truth will always prevail, and you're going to feel inauthentic and conflicted whenever you're affirming a non-truth, a falsehood. The second problem with affirmations is we've all been taught this affirmation. You probably heard this. I am a money magnet. Money flows to me effortlessly and in abundance. I don't think that's how money works in my experience. And I've studied a lot of financially successful people. You're like, how did you build a fortune? And they're like, I just affirmed that I was a magnet of money and it flowed into my life. Like, probably not. So those are the 2 reasons affirmations have a bad rap. And what I walk you through in the new Miracle Morning book are 3 steps to create affirmations that are rooted in truth, that are practical, that are actionable, and that are results oriented. And I'll give you those steps right now. In the book, I obviously, there's templates and stuff to fill out in the book while you're doing it. But step 1 is affirm what you're committed to. I am committed to blank. No matter what, there is no other option. In life, you don't get what you want. You don't get what you say is true that's not. You get whatever you are fully committed to. So don't say I am wealthy if you're not. Say I'm committed to becoming wealthy by the end of this year, or I'm committed. Get specific. to generating 30% more clients or revenue, or right, like, but affirm what you're committed to. And here's the thing, this is worth writing down. If you write down anything today, what you affirm repeatedly becomes your reality. What you affirm repeatedly, in fact, I'm going to send myself a note on that. What you, give me one sec. What, I have to say this all the time, and I'm like, I never post it on social media. What you affirm repeatedly becomes your reality. All right, there we go. Now I got it.
This is a perfect example of that, though, right? I have been visualizing this moment for more than a year, and here we are.
Amazing,
So,
amazing.
Sorry, I cut in on you, but
no, that's fine.
I agree.
Yeah. So I am committed to blank no matter what. There's no other option. That's step one, is affirm what you're committed to. Number two is affirm why it's a must for you. Affirm why it is a must for you. What are the most compelling reasons? And you don't need 100. Less is more. 1 to 5 reasons. But I usually have like 3 to 5. Because I looked at my roles. Like, why is this financial goal important to me personally? Why is it important to my wife? Because often we'll do more for other people than for ourselves. So if you're affirming why it's a must for you, but you're like, yeah, I can let myself off the hook, like I'll be okay. But you're like, wait a minute, I committed to my spouse to give them financial security. They're counting on me. Oh, that gives me a lot more drive to make it happen. And then what about my kids? What is this commitment doing for my kids that makes it a must for me? That's where the rubber meets the road. Like that's where I should say you fuel the fire, right? It's the must, the reasons behind the what, the commitment. And then step 3 is write down, affirm which specific actions you will take and when. And that's actually what I meant where the rubber meets the road. Which actions you'll take and when. Because if all you do is affirm what you're committed to and why it's a must for you, you might trick yourself into thinking that that's enough. But unless you have clarity of action, what are you going to do to get there? Oh, well, I didn't do that part. Okay, well, that's maybe the most important part, right? Like they all build on each other, right? What's the commitment? Why? And what are you going to do? And again, what you affirm becomes your reality. So when you affirm that formula every day for each of your goals, over and over and over and over and over again, what are you doing? You are strengthening your commitment. You are strengthening the drive and desire based on the reasons why it's a must for you. And you are clarifying, getting totally clear on what you're going to do, which actions you're going to take, and when you're going to take them. There's nothing more important you could do every single day to transform your life. And I will tell you, I'm not going to spend this much time on the other savers, but to me, the affirmations are the anchor. So A for affirmations, but A for anchor. This is the anchor of my miracle morning. All the other practices support optimizing my mental and emotional state so that I can live into those affirmations, right? So I'm meditating in a positive state. Then on the other side of affirmations is visualization. I'm visualizing myself doing the things I need to do that I just affirmed in a peak state. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. I'm getting excited through that mental rehearsal. By the way, write down visualization equals mental rehearsal. It's a much different way to think about it because visualization is another vague term, right? But mental rehearsal, you go, oh, so you're going to see yourself doing the thing today that you need to do that will get you where you're committed to going. And when you see it and you mentally rehearse it in an optimal mental and emotional state, the odds of you following through are 10 times, immeasurably more than if you had just woken up and gone, okay, I've got some goals today and I should probably work towards them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but right, oh, I don't actually want to. And then one procrastinating day turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into, waking up in 10 years going, gosh, damn it, why didn't I do the things that I said I wanted to do?
With the affirmation, and I'm not going to hold you up for long, but with that affirmations piece, I think often the way that I talk about it with people who are skeptical, and I talk to a lot of people who are skeptical about affirmations, the mental rehearsal piece is so strong because I will always bring it back to rugby. And in this country, we've got a really famous goal kicker, conversion kicker, previously Johnny Wilson, and he used to literally stand there and visualize where the ball was going to go time after time, 3 or 4 times before he kicked the ball. And so many examples in sport exist where visualization and kind of the affirmation is gold. So sorry.
Absolutely. No, it's so good. Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that because it is so important. The V visualization, we talked about mentally rehearsing, seeing yourself doing the thing you need to do today. And by the way, every area of life. Let's say you had a fight with your spouse the night before, right? I'm sure, don't go to bed angry. Yeah, in a perfect world, but sometimes that stuff happens, right? So when I wake up in the morning, right, and if I had a fight with my spouse the night before, and I know she's triggered, she's upset, I'm upset, I use my visualization to mentally rehearse seeing her when she comes out of the bedroom that morning and greeting her with love, forgiveness, and empathy. So then guess what? When she comes out of the bedroom, instead of triggering the night before's emotional state, which isn't going to serve the relationship, I got to mentally rehearse showing up in an optimal state to that situation. So again, I just want to give you that example so that you can see how you can use mental rehearsal in any area of your life. The E in Savers is for exercise, and I won't spend much time on this. It's not about going to the gym in the morning. It's about moving your body for as little as 60 seconds. 60 seconds of jumping jacks or high knees. Get your heart rate up and the oxygen and blood flowing through your body into your brain so you have more mental clarity. You will be more cognitively effective, and you'll be able to have more energy throughout the rest of the day. The R in Savers is for reading, right? And again, you're one book away from transforming any area of your life. If your marriage is struggling, there's 1,000 books to help you in that area, right? But here's what's crazy. When we're in a bad place in our lives, we often don't think about growth because subpar emotional states are not growth states. Positive states, right? That's why when you go to Tony Robbins' conference, he gets you all pumped up first, then he teaches you stuff because you're like, yes, okay, right? But if you're like depressed, you're like, I don't think this will work for me. I don't even know why I'm here, right? You follow? So, but when you exercise first thing in the morning, right, you're getting your energy up. And then you go into reading, now you're ready to learn. And so if you want to improve your marriage, there's infinite books on how to do that, right? You want to improve your health. You want to improve your morning, right? The Miracle Morning. And for those of you that have read the new Miracle Morning book, I have a follow-up book that not everybody knows about called The Miracle Equation. This was my follow-up to the Miracle. Hey, and there's the UK version. Peter, you're awesome, dude. And let me just say this. I almost never talk about that book, and I realize I need to be better about that.
It's gold, by the way. Yeah, I love it.
The reviews on that book, The Miracle Equation, are better than the original, than The Miracle Morning. But I want to frame this for you. The Miracle Morning is a daily practice for personal development. The Miracle Equation is a daily process for goal achievement. And then last but not least, The Miracle Life is your daily paradigm for personal fulfillment. That will be my next book after The Miracle Morning for Seniors that comes out next year. But the last S in Savers is for scribing, which is a fancy word for writing or journaling. And there is magic that happens when you get a thought out of your head and on paper in front of you. It creates a feeling of separation and perspective. So for example, the first thing that I talk about in the new book with scribing is ask yourself, is there anything that I need to let go of right now? Anything that I need to release, meaning anger, fear, tension, right? Because often those are in our subconscious. And if we don't consciously release them, they're just with us all day, every day. And most of us, myself included, are operating at a subpar mental and emotional state without even realizing it because we've been in it for so long. In fact, anyway, I went and got stem cells yesterday. You guys are getting me on a great day because I went and got stem cells in my brain yesterday because I have all this inflammation from chemotherapy and stuff. I feel like a different person. So I'm actually feeling like the old me. So you're the first, Pete. This is actually a special experience because, Pete, this is the first time that I've spoken since I got back yesterday from my doctor. And I'm like, yeah. And this is actually really affirming for me as I've been talking. I'm like, holy shit, this is like the old me. So yeah, hopefully thank you. I could cry right now. So I'll try to keep going and not break down.
You're in good company, bro. You're in good company. We're an
No, I have no
emotionally
problem. I
intelligent
cry all
group.
the time, actually.
Yeah.
So I cry on interviews all the time. I have no problem. But so the last savers is silence, and I'm sorry, scribing. And like, so when I write down, here's the power of this. When you're stressed, overwhelmed, fearful, and you go, okay, what's on my, what am I feeling? And I usually put my hand on my heart or both of them. You go, anything I need to let go of. And I try to, run through my feeling, parts of my body, what happened yesterday. And usually there's something. It's often just this underlying fear of what's going on in the world. Like, holy shit, our society, man, governments, and like, there's a lot of craziness, right? That's like this collective fear that we're all experiencing since 2020, right? Like the world has changed.
Mhm.
And so if anything, that for almost everybody is I need to let go of my general fear. And when you write it on paper, now you've taken it off of your subconscious. It's separate from you. You can look at it and you have perspective and you go, oh, that was holding me back, but no more. It's on paper. If I want to worry about it, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll look at it again. But I'm going to give myself permission to live free from that today. Wow. And then you journal, you write down what you're grateful for, you write down your top priorities for today. I'll sum it up with this. Those 6 practices, any one of the savers will change your life. When you do all 6 of them, it will transform you in ways. It creates miracles in your life. That's what Robert Kiyosaki said. Robert Kiyosaki said, Hal, you named the Miracle Morning book correctly because any one of the savers will change your life. He said, but I've been doing the Miracle Morning for 3 months now. And he said, I'm experiencing miracles in my marriage, in my health, and in my business. He said, you named the book correctly. And so I'll sum it up with that because I couldn't have said it better than Robert did in that moment.
No, beautiful. I think for me, the practice of the Miracle Morning, whenever I start to feel a fight with the black dog coming on,
Yeah.
in those moments when I start to feel shit about myself,
Yeah.
what practicing savers does for me is it flexes my discipline muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, that's massive, right? Because when
Yeah.
I'm feeling bad, I get lazy. I fall off the wagon, and then I feel bad because I've not done it, and it's kind of a negative, self-fulfilling prophecy. So when I spot myself doing that, if I'm in those states, I get to savers, and I've ticked off 6 amazing things before I've started my day.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. Hal, I literally have got another 30 questions that I could ask you. I'm
long-winded.
I'm totally conscious that these good people have come here to get the benefit of you as well.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to invite some people to ask you some questions. I'm gutted that I don't get a chance to ask all of mine, but that's the way it crumbles, right? Sarah, I think you've been compiling the questions.
I have.
Where are
What
we
I'm going
gonna
to do,
start?
I'm going to just dismantle the spotlights so that we go back to a nice big room and we'll invite some people to ask their questions. So I've been picking them out from the chat. Thank you very much. We'll see how many we get through, hey?
Yeah.
So
I'll try to be more concise and get through as many as I can.
yeah. Sian Pages, where are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm going to try to be cool, okay?
I know how you feel.
Yeah, fangirling here. I apologize. I'm going to rein it in so I don't embarrass myself. Okay, so hi, Hal. This is
Hello, Sian. How do I say your name?
My mind. Sian, yeah.
Sian, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. God, I wish could we have that video clip where Hal says that, please?
Yes,
later?
yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long
Okay.
as you promise to put it on LinkedIn.
Oh God,
some more followers.
for days. Yes, I will. So my question is, how do you feel about the global impact that you've had? Did you have any idea when you were writing the book how many people you would reach?
No, I mean, there were times when I was writing the book. I'll answer your question in the end and then the first part. But when I was writing the book, where what got me to write the book is I went, wait, if this changed my life and I wasn't a morning person, and I had taught it to 14 of my coaching clients and 13 of them said it changed their life. I went, if it changed my life and their life, and most of us were not morning people, I have a responsibility to share this with the world. And then I was like, how do I do that? I guess I have to write a book. I don't know how else to do that. I got to write a book. It took me 3 years to write the book. And during that time, more often than not, I was like any of us, like self-doubt. Who's going to read this? I can't convince somebody to wake up early if if they think they're not a morning person. Like, how am I going to do that, right? But I just kept, God was like, go, sorry, was like, go, just keep going. And I was like, all right, it's not about me. And that's one of my philosophies in life that really helps me about like living a life of service for others. It's not about me. And what's cool about that is it helps you deal with your own fears and insecurities. Because when you start to get up and, I can't, I'm not good enough. It's like, dude, shut up. It's not about you. You have to do it because the people are counting on you. And so I thought this could change millions of lives. But at that point, I was an unknown author. I didn't know how to, change lives. And so I just kept trying. And in terms of the way it feels now, it's interesting because I've had my friends ask me that. I mean, it's meaningful, but it's like, I think, I don't want to make this too long of an answer. So in my 20s, I did a lot of work on like dissolving ego, right? Like spiritual work. And I think that if I would have achieved, helped all these people when I was 20, I'd have been like, I'm awesome. I'm the man, right? But now it's just this really like humble, and I like just grateful. Like that's really it. I'm like, God, thank you for the impact that the Miracle Morning is making in people's lives. Like, thank you for I feel like I channeled that information. Like I can't take credit. Like the message came through me from higher consciousness and I delivered it. So I really don't feel like I get the credit for helping all the people. I just am doing as much as I can to serve. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Awesome. Love it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Helen Cockburn, I'm going to invite you next. If you're up for it. If not, I can ask for you.
Yes, no, that's fine. Can you hear me all right?
Hear you
Yep.
fine.
Hi, Helen.
Shall I-
Helen, I don't hear you now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, brilliant. Hi, really nice to meet you. I apologise if the dog makes her presence known. She's been just half an
No
hour.
problem.
Yeah, my question was, or is, I've been on SSR since my early 20s. I won't say how old I am now, but it's quite a lot older than that. I tried to come off them at various points, which has been disastrous, and not because of anything external that's happened. It's just, it's after a 4-month period, I just take a nosedive. My very, very good consultant psychiatrist years ago, this is going back a long time, the first time I tried to come off them said, I think unfortunately you're one of these people that, obviously your brain, your body, whatever, doesn't produce enough of the chemicals needed in order for the neurotransmitters, blah, blah, blah. You're probably one of these people that's going to have to be on antidepressants long term. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not one of these that, that's anti-medication or anything like that. But I suppose one of my questions is, what are your thoughts on that? My second question would be that whilst they worked, and they do work for me, and I'm very lucky in that respect, every autumn I suffer with seasonal affective disorder, and my antidepressants don't help with that at all. So I'm struggling with at least a third of the year where I feel, even though I'm taking the same.
So I'll share my thoughts, and obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, in right. So I want to be really clear. These are just my thoughts, my experience. So I have never been on antidepressants, although I was recommended very strongly because I was suicidal after I did 3 years of chemotherapy. I became suicidal. I became so depressed. I was sleeping 2 to 4 hours a night for 6 months. I was hallucinating. I thought people were trying to kill me. Like I was not the same person. I've been recovering from that for the last 3 years, which is what I said earlier about how, today's like my first day of like feeling back to normal. So here's my thoughts. I wasn't on antidepressants, but I was on Adderall. And Adderall is one of the most addictive prescription drugs that there is. And coming off of it, from what I understand, is one of the hardest things. I was on it for 10 years. And I realized once I got cancer, I thought, oh, well, what's everything that's not from nature that I've put in my body? Prescription drugs, workout supplements, chemical preservatives, on and on and on. And I made a list and I thought, I'm never putting these in my body again. And so I completely quit Adderall, and I Googled, how do you quit Adderall, right? I would imagine, here's what I would tell you. I would imagine that there are, I don't know how many, countless people that have gotten off of SSRIs, right? I would Google, how did they do that? And that's what I did. I read a bunch of articles and I kind of put together a strategy based on a couple of the articles of how I was going to taper off of my Adderall. But here's the thing. You have to replace that with natural solutions. Meaning, if you eat a crappy high sugar diet, you're going to be depressed. You're going to lose focus, right? If you don't exercise, you're not going to have any energy. You're going to be depressed. You have to get sunlight. Now, if you can't get sunlight, there are like during the seasons, you know, you can buy, I forget, but if you Google like sun mimicking lamp, right? You can do that. But you've got to exercise. You've got to do your miracle morning. You've got to eat a really good diet. And like for me, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. And I did stem cells yesterday, right? I'm doing peptides. So I'm doing all these natural. I'm a big believer. I will put my energy into holistic, non-traditional, non-pharmaceutical solutions every single time. Not every single time. If I get in a car accident, my leg's broken off, I'll say, give me whatever you got, doctor. But in terms of healing my natural conditions, that's how I'll do it. So I know we need to move on to the next question, but Helen, I hope that's helpful. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's head over to Andrew Laws.
Hey Hal, good to see you. You're looking good and sounding very healthy and well, which is a lovely thing to see.
Thank you, Andrew.
I read your book several years ago, pre-COVID, so like, you know, it's like AD, BC type thing. I did it for about 9 months, felt really good, really enjoyed it, and started sending the book to other people, including one person who's in this room. And then I got ill, not like serious illness, but I got incapacitated ill for a couple of weeks and basically lost the routine and haven't really got it back. You know, I've tried reading the book again and really believe in it, but just haven't quite got it. So just want to see kind of if you had any
advice
or any experiences around that.
Yeah. So a couple questions. Have you read the new edition yet?
I haven't. I have just added it to my basket on Amazon.
That's awesome. So because a lot of people said, like, that's a lot of the reviews I see on Amazon are like, wow, this is exactly what I needed. I used to be a miracle morning practitioner. I fell off. Because the new edition, I rewrote the original edition and added 70 new pages, asking myself, what do I know now that if I would have written the book, you know, 10 years ago, knowing what I knew now, what would I do differently? And so to me, it's just, I literally rewrote every page. So that's one answer. The other is, I don't know if you know, there's a Miracle Morning app. So the Miracle Morning app, there's both a free version that has a lot of features and you can use it free forever. And then there's a premium version that has over, I think we're up to around 200 guided savers tracks. So meaning you click play and you complete your Miracle Morning in, for example, even the free version has a 13-minute guided savers 101. So you hit play and 13 minutes later, you've done a complete Miracle Morning. You are done. You've done all 6 savers. And so, yeah, so that's a great hack. And again, the free version of the app has that Savers 101 track, and then you can upgrade like for more, but that's a great place to start. And to me, it doesn't get much easier. Like when I give a speech now, that's actually how I tell people to start their Miracle Morning. I download the free app, hit play, and 13 minutes from now, without having to think, you're just going to do exactly what you're needed to do. You're going to have done a Miracle Morning. And so what I would do, the last thing I'll say, Andrew, is recommit to a 30-day challenge. So what I would do is I would try the free Savers 101 track in the app and then commit to a 30-day challenge at the very least, just to do that every day. Just hit play and do what it says, let it guide you for 30 days. And I would be willing to bet that you will be hooked to the Miracle Morning. Probably within X amount of days, you're going to want more than 13 minutes. You're going to do that track, and then you're going to read a little longer, journal a little longer, do all the savers a little longer. But that's how I would start.
Thank you, and thank you for your time, Hal.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
Hal, we might have time for one more, I suppose.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Sarah, make it a good one. Make it a good one.
No pressure, no pressure. Okay, Julia Kendall, I'm inviting you to the floor, please.
Oh, thank you. Hal, thanks for your time today. Absolutely amazing. So, I mean, it's not dissimilar actually to Andrew's question, the last question, but how can I stop the self-sabotage that stops me from doing all these amazing things that I know I should be doing for my own good, but I fight with myself on a daily basis?
Yeah. Great question. And I think that thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that and asking that. And I think that we all struggle with that. To me, I would go back to affirmations. Affirmations, if I were you, I would write out affirmations. Number one, what you're committed to. I am committed to stop self-sabotaging, right? And no matter what, there is no other option. Like, affirm that commitment. Number two, why is it a must for you? I'm going to stop self-sabotaging because I deserve to live an extraordinary life. I am capable of creating an extraordinary life. I am just as worthy, deserving, and able to create the life I want as any other person, right? Like, I would affirm that. And then number three, in order to do that, I will commit to doing the miracle morning every day for at least 30 days. And if I miss a day, I won't beat myself up. I'll just recommit and do it again the next day. I mean, I would, and I don't know, Pete, I know you're recording this, but if you could send that to Kindle and Kindle just write that out word for word and then edit it and make it your own. But that's what I would do. Because remember, what you affirm becomes your reality. So if you affirm that every single day, you will overcome self-sabotage and it'll just hit you. You'll look back and go, whoa, I haven't self-sabotaged myself in like 3 weeks. This is amazing. I feel different. Whoa, this is amazing. So yeah, thank you for the question. And I'm excited to see your journey.
Thank you, Hal. Thanks.
Awesome.
Amazing. Hal, I'm so respectful of your time. I can see we've got 1 minute left. There's a little ritual that we do in our networking group, Networking In, where we create these stupid GIFs, right? And sometimes we'll go like this, or sometimes we'll go like this. And I would be honored if you would join us in making one of these GIFs that, you know,
Totally.
We'll go live on LinkedIn and maybe, who knows, go viral with the epic content that you shared with us. And I'd love us all, if possible, to just kind of make a little heart, right? If we can all make a little heart and then push it towards the camera really slowly. So 1, 2, 3, push it towards the camera. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Hal, you are an absolute legend. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This is a dream come true for me. And I know that there are people in this room that literally are going to change their lives as a result of this conversation. And that makes me so proud and so grateful for you giving your time. So thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Peter, I appreciate you, brother, and everybody here. Thank you for showing up today. And Pete, if you could send me this recording, I would love that because, yeah, this is a memorable experience. So thanks, y'all, for allowing me to be with you this morning.
Awesome.
Thanks
we're
so much,
gonna
Hal.
keep everyone behind because I'm gonna give away some of your books.
Nice.
I know that you've got stuff to do. So we love you, man.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you,
Take care.
Hal.
You're so welcome.
All right, yeah.
Oh my God. That was amazing.
I don't think Pete's going to sleep for a week.
Oh, well, that went well.
And breathe. Well done. Well done.
That went well. So, Laura, we've got a spin wheel, I think, have we?
Yeah.
Sweet. So hopefully a bunch of you beautiful people have stayed till the end. And let's see. Is it going to work?
Can you see my screen? It's just a black screen, my friend.
Just there we are. There
Hey,
we
there
are.
it is.
Sweet. Okay, so first up, we're going to send someone the newest edition of the Miracle Morning. Law, click to spin. Let's pick a winner.
Oh. I feel like we need some tense sort of music.
Yeah, oh, look at this. Is it Danny?
Close, Danny.
It's Danny. Yay! Well done, Danny. You're getting a Miracle Morning. Send us your address and we will send that to you. The next up, The Miracle Equation. This is a seriously good book for getting you to realize how to create miracles. I read it last week and very, very good. Law, let's make sure Danny doesn't win again. Spin the wheel.
Otherwise, she might end up with like a trilogy.
Right. She'll get two of the same though.
Oh, that's true.
We needed music or something.
Yeah,
Sarah Shah, congratulations. The Miracle Equation. Again, let us know where it's going to. We will send it to you. Last one, gang. Last one. Miracle Morning. Once again. Laura, spin the wheel, my darling, please.
I mean, you could always sing to us if you wanted to have some background music.
Never gonna happen.
What's your
Never gonna
lovely
happen.
voice?
Oh, I hope it goes there. Yay!
Yay!
Kelly, have you already got this? Kel,
I was going to ask if you could send it to Debs if she wants it.
done.
Well, Debs is thumbs upping madly on the screen, so I think we're
Yeah.
good.
That's great. Thank you so
Debs.
much.
Congratulations, congratulations. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, Sarah Shah, just visualize that. That's amazing.
There we go. Guys, thank you so much for being with us. There's loads of people who have got no idea who we are. They've just turned up to witness Hal, and that's cool. We run business events, business networking for small business owners. We have a community called The Alliance, and we run a networking community called Networking In. The reason I got Hal here is because we attract really, really, really epic speakers to our stage. And the next up, we've got a guy called Kyle Raffo. Some of you might know him, lots of you won't. He is a seriously impressive business owner, young business owner with lots of businesses. He span out from Peter Jones's academy, and he's very, very cool. He's going to be talking about getting out of bed meaning blame, excusive denial. I'm sure it's going to be a really insightful talk. You are very welcome to join us. And if you use the code friend of Hal at checkout, that's friend of Hal at checkout on our website, you can come for free. Up after Kyle is my wonderful friend, Rebecca Reed, who's going to talk about how to spot when someone's struggling. Very appropriate given the conversations we've had. Rebecca is the mental health first aid expert for Oxford University, for Nike, for Converse, for Barbour. She's seriously impressive. And I would encourage you to come along. Again, use the code friend of Hal at checkout and you can come for free. Thank you so much for being here. It literally is a dream come true. We're focused on bringing lots more very, very, very impressive speakers to the stage. So watch this space and please do come again. Thank you, guys. Bye.